Let's start with the basics. The core of AWS networking and content delivery services is Network Foundations. It allows us to efficiently manage how our data moves within the AWS environment and out to the end users.
So, it's like setting the ground rules for how our data travels.
Exactly. Now, the first tool we often leverage is Amazon VPC or Virtual Private Cloud. It gives us the power to customize and control our networking environment. Think of it as creating our own private section of the AWS cloud where we can launch resources in a virtual network that we define.
So we're creating our own secure little corner within the massive AWS cloud?
Right. And we're not limited to one either. We can have multiple VPCs, each isolated from the others.
But what if we want to connect these isolated VPCs, or connect them to our on-premises network?
Good question. That's where AWS Transit Gateway comes in. It simplifies our network architecture by allowing us to connect all our VPCs and on-premises networks to a single gateway.
Sounds efficient. But what if we need to establish private connections between these VPCs and other AWS services, or maybe with our on-premises services?
Spot on. This is where AWS Private Link comes into play. It enables us to securely access services while keeping all network traffic within the AWS network. No exposure to the public internet means significantly less threat surface.
Got it. AWS Network Foundations, VPC for creating isolated networks, Transit Gateway for connecting them, and Private Link for secure connections to other services.
That's right. Remember, these tools are powerful, but it's all about how we use them. Let's dive into more detailed scenarios next.
I'm curious about AWS networking and content delivery services. Can you tell me more about them?
Sure. AWS CloudFront is a content delivery network that securely delivers data, videos, applications, and APIs at high transfer speeds with low latency.
That sounds impressive. How does it work?
CloudFront uses a global network of edge locations to cache and deliver content from the location closest to the end user, reducing latency and improving performance.
What about Amazon Route 53? What does it do?
Route 53 is a highly available and scalable domain name system, DNS, that can help drive end users to Internet applications by translating human-readable domain names into IP addresses.
That's interesting. How does it compare to other DNS services?
Route 53 is a managed DNS service that is both cost-effective and highly scalable, making it a great choice for Internet applications with high traffic and complex routing needs.
What about AWS Global Accelerator? How does that fit in?
Global Accelerator is a networking service that can help optimize user traffic to your application by routing it to the optimal AWS endpoint based on health, geography, and routing policies.
That sounds like it could be really helpful for improving performance. Do you have any data to support that?
According to an AWS case study, Global Accelerator helped a customer reduce latency by up to 60% and improve their application availability by up to 80%.
Wow, those are impressive results. It sounds like AWS networking and content delivery services can really make a difference.
Absolutely. By using these services, you can optimize user traffic, improve performance, and reduce costs, all while delivering a great user experience.
I've heard about AWS Direct Connect, but I'm not sure how it works. Can you explain it to me?
Sure. AWS Direct Connect is a dedicated network connection between your data center and AWS. It provides a more reliable and consistent network experience compared to internet-based connections.
That sounds useful. But what if I need to connect to AWS from a remote location?
You can use AWS Site-to-Site VPN to create an encrypted network connection between your Amazon VPCs and your on-premises or remote networks.
Interesting. And what about connecting remote workers to AWS?
For that, you can use AWS Client VPN to securely connect your remote workforce to AWS or on-premises resources using a virtual private network, VPN.
Wow, AWS seems to have all the bases covered. But what about global networks?
AWS Cloud WAN is a new service that allows you to easily build, manage, and monitor global wide area networks.
That's impressive. Do you have any data to back up these claims?
Yes, according to a recent report by Gartner, AWS is a leader in the cloud networking space, with a strong track record of innovation and customer satisfaction.
I can see why. AWS seems to have a solution for every networking need.
Exactly. With AWS, businesses can improve their network performance and security, while also reducing costs and complexity.
Okay, now that we've covered network foundations, let's delve into some specific AWS networking and content delivery services. Amazon VPC Lattice is up first. It's a tool that simplifies service-to-service connectivity, security, and monitoring.
Sounds useful. So, instead of manually managing connections between different services, VPC Lattice does it for us?
Exactly. It streamlines the process. Moving on, when dealing with containers and microservices, AWS AppMesh is a great tool. It uses application-level networking to connect these components, providing a consistent way to route and monitor traffic.
That's smart. It ensures that all these parts can communicate effectively with one another.
Yes, and then we have AWS API Gateway. This service allows us to create, maintain, and secure APIs at any scale. It handles all the tasks involved in accepting and processing concurrent API calls.
So it takes care of things like authorization, throttling, and other API-related security measures?
Absolutely. And let's not forget about AWS Cloud Map. It's a service discovery tool that lets our applications discover and connect to each other based on the most up-to-date conditions of the network.
Like a live map of our services. That's handy.
Indeed. Lastly, there's Elastic Load Balancing. It's key for distributing incoming application traffic across multiple targets, such as Amazon EC2 instances, containers, and IP addresses. It can handle the varying load of your applications in a single availability zone or across multiple availability zones to provide a seamless experience for your users.
So it prevents any one server from becoming a bottleneck. It's all about efficient distribution.
Exactly. Together, these tools create a powerful, flexible, and efficient networking environment within AWS.
Now that we've covered some networking and content delivery services, let's shift gears and talk about network security. A critical part of our infrastructure, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, security is key. What does AWS offer in this space?
First off, we have AWS Shield, a managed service that safeguards our AWS applications against distributed denial of service, or DDoS attacks. It's critical for maintaining availability during potential attack scenarios.
So, Shield is our first line of defense against DDoS attacks. Got it.
Correct. Then there's AWS WAF, or Web Application Firewall. It protects our web applications from common web exploits that could affect application availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources.
So, while Shield defends against DDoS, WAF deals with exploits at the application layer. What about network-level security?
Good question. That's where AWS Network Firewall comes in. It's a managed service that allows us to deploy network security across our Amazon VPCs. We can set up firewall rules for traffic filtering based on parameters such as IP, protocol, and domain.
Aha! So, we've got application level protection with WAF, DDoS protection with Shield, and network level security with Network Firewall.
Exactly. And to bring it all together, there's AWS Firewall Manager. It gives us a central place to configure and manage all these firewall rules. We can use it to easily roll out protections across our accounts and resources.
I see. So, it's a centralized way to manage all the different firewalls and security measures we have in place.
Exactly right. These tools all combine to create a comprehensive, multi-layered security solution for our network.
It's impressive how AWS has thought of everything when it comes to network security.
Indeed. AWS is always striving to innovate and provide the best possible solutions for their customers.